So we'll start by getting centered. Please sit comfortably. We'll start going inward, turning off the outside world, turning into that inside world. And as you turn inward, feel your body resting on the floor. Whatever points of contact your body makes with the floor, feel that. And feel yourself rooted and supported by these points, these grounding points of your body. There's a sense of steadiness and stability that we can connect to just by that awareness. And feeling again that steadiness, I'd like for you to practice being completely still. So take the next second or two to get out any fidgets that you might have left in you. And then, other than your breath gently moving in your body, I'd like you to cease all movement. And we'll try to hold that for about a minute or so. It's a long minute. And then relax your effort around stillness. You just might feel yourself a bit steadier, even more than before. The body less compulsive to shift around and move. And we'll continue to connect to this idea of internal support throughout the rest of our practice tonight. So when you're ready, go ahead and take a deeper, fuller breath. Bring your palms together and lower your chin. And honor yourself as you are in this moment, body, breath, energy, and mind. And from that place within you, will practice. Go ahead and rub the palms together, creating heat. And take those warm palms over your eyes, brushing over the top of your head and down your neck, welcoming yourself back to the space around you. Good. So if we're going to feel grounded and supported, we're going to come onto our backs to do it. So move any props you have off to the side and come to lay down, please. And take your time with that transition. Good. And go ahead and start by bringing your knees into your chest and feeling your back resting against the floor. Just notice sensation here. Good. And then from here, bring your feet flat to the floor and have your arms down by your sides. We'll do some bridge pose in and out. So with your next inhale, lift your arms all the way up and then overhead. And then exhale, reach your fingertips toward the ceiling again, and then back down to your sides. Inhale, reach the arms up and over. And exhale, reach the arms up and then back down again. One more time with just the arms. Inhale, lifting up and over. And exhale, lifting up and down. Let's add the hips now. Pick up the arms, but also pick up the hips. Reach the pelvis toward the ceiling. And exhale, release the arms and hips back down. Again, inhale, lifting up. Exhale down. Keep going on your breath. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lowering down. Just a few more times, warming up the spine and hips here. Also, there's some movement in the shoulders. Inhale up, exhale down. Let's do two more, all right? And on this last round, pick up the hips and stay up. Arms overhead, pelvis reaching toward the ceiling. And breathe. Deep breath in. And exhale, release the arms and hips together, coming back down to the floor. Good. So from here, walk your feet away from your body about 6 more inches, and then take your feet as wide apart as your yoga mat. Your arms are going to come out to the side. Good. Then we're going to move the legs around a little bit here. So inhale, take the knees to the right. Exhale, ground your lower back to the floor and bring the knees back to center. Then inhale, take the knees to the left. And then exhale again, ground the lower back, come back to center. And then just keep going. Inhale, knees to a side. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, knees to the other side. Exhale, back to center. And then just keep going. Loosening up the hips here, lower back, the iliopsoas muscle, that big wraparound muscle from the low back, around the side of the body, down into the front. And if you want to here, as well as the legs are going from side to side, you can turn the chin from side to side as well. And I like to take the chin the opposite direction of the knees. Side to side, loosening up the hip joints, bringing some mobility and hopefully some relief to your lower back here as well. And just a few more times from side to side. And then take your time getting there, but take the knees to a side. It doesn't matter which one, but just let the knees fall to that side. Make sure the feet are still met width apart. Allow the inside knee to really be guiding downward toward the floor. This will create some extension out of the hip joint and a little bit of length on that side of your body. And breathe. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and carefully switch sides. And we'll stay on the second side for a few breaths as well. Again, the inside knee is guiding toward the floor in front of you, creating some extension out of the hip and a little bit of length on that side. Good. All right. Inhale, unwind. And hug your knees into your chest again. And with the knees drawn into your chest, take your arms down by your sides. Flex both feet. Good. And we'll just do a little bit of work for the core here. Not too much, but just a little bit. So inhale, extend your right leg toward the ceiling. Then exhale, bend the knee, bring it back in. Inhale, extend the left leg. And exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, both legs go up. Exhale, back in. Right leg. Exhale in. Left leg, inhale. Exhale. Both legs. And in. Again, right leg. And back. Left leg. And back. Both legs. And back. Take the right leg up, please. And stay. Pull the right toes back, reaching through the heel of the right leg, feeling length behind that leg, the hamstring. Good. Then go ahead and bend the right knee. Take the left leg up. Again, flex the foot. Reach through the heel. Feel length behind the leg. And breathe, of course. Good. Go ahead and bend the knee in. All right, you know where we're going. Go ahead and extend both legs straight up. Pull the toes back on both feet. Reach through the heels. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Reach up. And exhale, bring the knees back in. You can hug them in if you'd like. Good job. All right, so go ahead and bring the feet back to the floor like you did for bridge pose and cross your right ankle center of the left thigh. Right ankle center of the left thigh. And pull the toes back on that right foot. This will protect the ankle and the knee joint. Arms are down by your sides. And just for a few rounds, inhale, lift the hips, coming into one leg bridge. And exhale, bring the hips back down. Inhale, bring the hips back up. And exhale, bring the hips back down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower down. Good. Keep the leg crossed where it's at. Keep the foot flexed. And pick up the left knee and bring it in toward your chest. Now you can reach between your legs with your right hand to hold behind the left thigh with both hands. Now it's tempting here to start to yank the knee toward your chest. Don't do that. Just pull it to the point where you feel the stretch in the right hip and stay there. No need to force it. The hips do not like to be rushed. But keep the right foot flexed, left knee drawing directionally toward the chest. And take some big deep breaths here, just asking that right hip to soften, and relax. Relax the gripping, relax the holding. 2 more breaths here. Good. Keeping the leg crossed, bring the left foot back to the floor. Good. We're going to do one more exercise with this cross. So the right ankle is right below the left knee. You're just going to go ahead and just knock the hips to the left. So it's like your right foot's coming flat to the floor. It's a little bit of a twist here. Good. All right. Go ahead and come back up. And now we can uncross. Okay. So we're going to do all of that on the other side. So when you're ready with your right foot flat on the floor, cross your left ankle center of the right thigh. Good. Arms by your sides will go in and out of this one leg bridge about 4 times. So inhale, pick up the hips, and exhale, bring them back down. Inhale, pick up the hips, and exhale back down. A couple more times. Good. And then coming down this time, keep the leg crossed again. And then bring the right knee up in towards your chest. Reach between the legs of the left hand, holding behind the right thigh with both hands. Draw the knee toward your chest to the point where you start to feel the stretch in your left hip, and then stay right there. And breathe right there. And do breathe here. Intentionally big breaths. It's like that breath is giving permission for this left hip to ungrip, untense, to soften. Staying just a little bit longer. Good. So go ahead and release. Bring the right foot to the floor. Keep the leg crossed and just knock the hips to the right. It's like you're bringing the left foot flat to the floor. All right, good. Inhale, come back and uncross. Maybe stretch the legs out for a moment. I've been doing a lot with like the bending of the knees. Just stretch the legs out. Reach through the heels straight out in front of you. Big stretch with the legs. And then relax them. Good. All right. So from here, we're going to roll over onto our right sides and come up to hands and knees. Take your time with that transition. All right. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees beneath the hips, or a little further back. We're just going to come right into downward facing dog. So curl the toes under, lift the hips into the air. And we've done actually quite a bit for the legs so far, but if you feel like you want to, you can definitely walk it out for this little bit we got here. Good. All right. From downward facing dog, lift your right leg high into the air behind you. And as you're lifting the right leg high, allow your left heel to sink toward the floor. It's like you're spreading the feet apart. And breathe. And then bring the right foot down. Inhale, float down onto hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. But only for a moment. Inhale back up to hands and knees. And again, downward facing dog. Now this time in down dog, lift the left leg high into the air. Allow your right heel to sink toward the floor, spreading the feet apart. Staying for about 3 or 4 breaths. Good. Bring that foot down. Again, inhale, float down onto hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Seat to the heels, forehead to the floor. But again, only for a moment. Inhale back up to hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. In down dog, lift the right leg up again. With your exhale, swing or carry step that right foot between the hands. If it doesn't make it on the first try, reach down and grab the foot, help it forward. Your back knee comes to the floor, and with your inhale, lift the arms up for a crescent lunge. Good. With your exhale, interlace your fingers and bring the hands onto your front thigh. Now, once you're here, a couple of things. Roll the shoulders down the back and open your chest. Good. The next thing we're going to do is a little bit of work for the hips. So feel yourself sink down a little bit further and then pull back out a little bit. And then sink down just a little bit further and pull back out a little bit. We're just going to keep doing that for a little while. Now, if you need some cushion underneath your back knee, you could bring a folded blanket there, or you could even double your mat up. Just fold it back a little bit to create another layer. Okay? We're working on the hips tonight. So sinking forward, pulling back, sinking forward, pulling back. Good. This time, sink forward, bring the hands back to the floor, and step back to downward facing dog. Good. Now let's see what that feels like on the other side. Lift the left leg high into the air behind you. With your exhale, go ahead and bring that foot between the hands, helping it through. Back knee to the ground again. Inhale, lift the arms up, crescent lunge. Interlace the fingers, bring them onto the front thigh. Now again, open the heart first. Roll the shoulders down the back, turn the chest up. Good, then we'll do the work from the waist down. Sink the hips, pull out just a little bit. Sink down, pull back, sinking down, pulling back. Just keep going. A small dynamic movement with the hips, just really allowing the hips to open gently. Again, we don't want to force the hips. Good. All right, bring the hands to the floor. Again, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, float down onto hands and knees. Release the feet, child's pose. Stay here for 3 breaths. Good. And then from child's pose, go ahead and slither forward down onto your abdomen. Sliding down on. Good. And so your hands are underneath your shoulders. Your elbows are bent and squeezing in toward your sides. And we'll play around with cobra pose tonight. So with your inhale, roll the shoulders down the back, pull the heart and head away from the floor. Again, elbows stay bent here, squeeze them into your sides. Good. Exhale, release down, turn your head to a side. Let's do that again. Inhale, roll the shoulders down the back, lift the heart, lift the head, cobra pose. Exhale, release down, turn the head to the opposite side. Again, inhale, cobra lift. And exhale, release, turning the head. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release, turning the head. We'll do 2 more for now, at least. Go ahead and lift, cobra. And down. And last one for now, lift. And release down. Stay for just a breath or so, relaxing for a moment. And then go ahead and curl the toes under. Go ahead and push up to hands and knees and lift into downward facing dog once again. Good. Now in downward dog, go ahead and walk your hands back to meet your feet coming into the forward fold. Let the knees be a little bit bent here, really draping the upper body down over the upper body over the thighs. Release the head, neck, shoulders, arms. All right, from here, bend your knees a little bit deeper. And begin to roll yourself all the way up to standing, a single vertebrae at a time. The chin is the last to lift. All right, good morning. Staying hydrated. I mentioned to a couple people who were here earlier, I'm recovering from a cold. I'm fine. It's just my voice sounds terrible these days. So I have to hydrate a lot. So every time I hydrate, you hydrate too. We can work on that together. All right, so from standing, let's do some work with chair pose. I know we always love chair pose, but we're working on feeling stable and feeling grounded this evening. So go ahead and bring your feet about hip width apart. And actually, I'm going to change my mind here. You have some options, basically. You can come into chair pose with your feet and knees apart. So when you sink in, they stay apart. You could come into chair pose with your feet and knees together. So when you sink in, they stay together. What I would like you to not do is have your feet apart and your knees buckle. Okay. So you can play around with it and pick which one you want to do, but don't do that third one. Okay. I'm going to start with my feet hip width apart. You might like to have yours together. Okay. But have your hands on your hips regardless. Bring the shoulder blades together at your back. Think about squeezing the elbows together behind you just as a directional movement. This keeps the heart lifting and the spine in the right alignment. Good. Now take a deep breath in. With your exhale, go ahead and bend your knees, sink the hips back, sinking down into chair. Then inhale, lift back up. Exhale again, sink down into chair pose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink. And lift. A few more times. Chair. And lift. And sink down. And you probably guessed it, but we're going to hold this time. Feel the heart lifting again, that directionally bringing the elbows toward one another. If your feet are apart, don't buckle the knees. Keep them apart. Good. Inhale, straighten the legs and release your arms. Wonderful. Good job. All right. For our next exercise, we're actually going to practice balancing. One thing that helps us feel grounded is to find stability in instability, if you will. So feet are stacking underneath the hips here, no matter what you do for chair pose, because we're not doing that anymore. And I'd like you to sway from side to side for a moment and just feel the weight of your body shift from foot to foot, and then stop at the point where the weight of your body is evenly placed between both feet. Okay. And then do the same thing forward and back. Just lean forward a little bit, lean back a little bit, not too far, don't fall. Feeling the weight of your body shift from the balls of your feet to the heels of your feet, and then stop at the point where the weight feels even between the two. And so with our movement, we've created a crosshairs that we're now sitting at the center of. This should feel quite stable. All right. Now you're going to take that crosshairs, you're going to shift it over into your left foot. Okay. Just lean over into that left foot, and then feel the body lift on that side. It's easy to crunch down. Don't crunch down. Lift up. Good. And then your hands can be at the heart or hands on the hips. But start to pick up your right foot, bringing the knee toward your chest. Now, it only might be a couple of inches or maybe all the way up, but focus the eyes to a single non-moving point in front of you. If you're looking around, you will fall. And breathe, because if you don't breathe, you'll pass out and fall. So we do this breathing. That's how that works. And if you do fall, it's okay. Just take your time coming back into it. Good. Go ahead and bring that right foot back to the floor. All right, ready for another side? Shift that crosshairs back to center. And then bring that into your right foot. And again, lift up out of the hip here. Really extend up on that right side. And then begin to lift the left knee. And breathe. And breathe. Focus the eyes. Maybe the side is easier or harder than the first side. Good. And then go ahead and place the left foot back down. All right. We're going to do more balancing. So we'll do it this way. All right. I have an exercise in my mind. I'm like, how are we going to get there? So this next one, we'll actually practice coming into it from a forward fold. So watch me do it once. All right. So I'm going to start the center of my mat because my leg is going to kick back. So if you're too close to a wall, you will hit it. I'm going to fold forward here. And then I'm going to come halfway up. All right. Now we've been here in previous classes. The chest is parallel to the floor. I'm not jutting my head. I'm looking straight down. And from here, I am going to either have my hands or fingertips on the floor. I could do hands on the waist here, but let's all do fingertips on the floor if you can. You can even bend the knees to get there. If you have yoga blocks at home, those work here as well. And I'm going to lift my right foot straight up and back. Now, ideally, that back leg comes parallel to the floor, but that's just a goal. You don't have to achieve anything tonight. Now, I'm going to keep my eyes focused on the floor. I'm not going to be looking around. And I'll start to bring one hand to hip, other hand to hip, coming into what's called Warrior 3. I don't teach this one a lot because personally I don't like it, but it's a good one for balancing. We'll stay for a few breaths and then we'll come out. All right. So I'm not sure if you're already doing that or not, but I'll lead you into it. If you're already practicing it, just keep going. All right. So from the center of your mat, folding forward, coming up halfway, bringing the fingertips to the blocks or to the floor, and sweep your right leg straight back. Okay. Now with that leg straight out behind you, bring your right hand to your right hip. Focus your eyes on the floor, breathe. And then try to bring your left hand onto your left hip. It's okay to bring a hand down to catch you if you start to fall. But breathe here. Keep lifting that back heel. And good. Bring the hands to the floor, bring the foot to the floor. All right. See, isn't it so much fun? It's a good pose. I say I don't like it because I find it challenging sometimes, but it's actually a good pose. We should do it more often. All right, let's try the other side. So coming up halfway, hands or fingertips on the floor, sweep the left leg back. And again, I like to soften the standing leg a little bit. This gives me personally a bit more support. With that leg extending straight back, go ahead and bring your left hand onto your left hip. And maybe the right hand onto the right hip. And breathe. Warrior 3. If you fall, it's okay. Take your time coming back into it. Good. All right, go ahead and bring the hands and foot to the floor. All right. And then carefully bring yourself back up to standing. Good job. Oh, good job for even trying that one. Now, there are ways to come into Warrior 3 that are a little less consuming. That one really is about lifting your body up from the floor. Now, we're going to practice it again. Just listen to me real quick. We're going to practice it again. We're going to come into it from a standing position, and the quality of it might shift for you as well. Okay, so we're just playing around tonight. If you start to hear those critical thoughts in your head of like, I can't balance, I'm a bad yogi, like, we're all just playing, we're all just practicing. So I'm going to stand on my left foot. You can watch me do this first. And for this one, I'll have hands on hips and I'll lift my right knee. So we did this one already. Now I'm going to change where I'm looking. Instead of looking at the wall, I'm going to look right at the floor, maybe about 18 inches in front of my foot. Then from here, I'll hinge at the hips, shoot the right leg back, and bring the chest parallel to the floor. Okay, Warrior 3. Then we'll try to come back up that way. All right. You might find coming into it, it feels a little bit easier. At least that's my experience, but let's find out. All right. So still standing in the center of your mat, lest you kick something around you. Have your hands on your hips. Ground the weight of your body evenly into your left foot. So forward and back. Bring your right knee up. And then change your view from the wall to the floor. And then carefully begin to hinge at the hips. Bring the chest down parallel to the floor. Shoot the right leg out behind you. Play around with that. It's okay if you fall. Breathe. Good. And then see if you can come back up to standing. Maybe the knee comes to chest, maybe it doesn't, but bring that right foot back down. Good. All right, one more side to do. Then I promise we'll be done with warrior three for a while. Good. So we'll be standing on the right leg this time, hands on your hips, and just work on bringing the left knee up. And then move your gaze from the wall to the floor. And then begin to hinge at the hips. Bring the chest parallel to the floor, shoot the leg out behind you. Or have fun trying. Focus the eyes. Breathe. Good. Go ahead and stand back up. And bring the foot back down. Good. Go ahead and just shake the legs out for a moment. Sometimes they get kind of crampy when we do these exercises. All right. So now that we're done with that, we're going to come into a wide leg stance, please. Take your feet nice and wide apart. Turn the toes out about 45 degrees. Good. Starting with some squats. Hands on the hips. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, go ahead and bend your knees out toward the toes. Sink down in. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, sink back in. Inhale, lift. And sink. Keep the heart lifting. You could even think about bringing the elbows together at your back again. Good. One more time, and we're going to hold. So sink down in. Feel the chest lift. And if you'd like to, you can take the arms out to the side and bend the elbows, cactus arms. Or you can just keep the hands on the hips. It's up to you. Breathe. Good. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up. Turn the feet parallel, toes pointing directly forward. Then exhale, hinge at the hips and fall down over your legs, feeling the backs of the legs lengthen. Maybe your lower back as well. The knees can be a little bit bent here. Good. All right. Go ahead and bring yourself back up to standing in any way that feels good for you. And arms down. Good. So we have one more big pose to do, but we're going to do it on our backs. So, I like transition, so let's just get there together. Whichever way is the front of your mat, go ahead and turn your toes that way and step to the top of your mat. And then fold forward. And step back to downward facing dog. And float down onto your hands and knees. Good. And just sit for a second. I'll demonstrate quickly what we'll do next. It's not too complicated, but it might be helpful just to see it in my body before you feel it in your body. So in a moment, you'll come back onto your back. And we'll come back into a pose that we were working with earlier, which was like the one leg bridge. We're not going to come back into the bridge itself, but just the cross of the ankle under the thigh. Now, earlier, we brought the knee in toward the chest, and I want to take this pose just a hair further, okay? And so if you don't want to do this next part, all you'll do is come back into what we did earlier by holding behind the thigh and hanging out here. Trust me, you're still getting a great stretch. But if you want to take it further, what you'll do is with your hands, you'll grab hold of your knee and you'll grab hold of your entire ankle joint. Not the foot because that can hurt the ankle, but grab the ankle joint itself. Okay. The idea is to create a parallel between your shin and your chest. Now from here, a couple of options. You can bring the left foot to the floor. Now, just by doing that, I feel the intensity of the stretch increase. If you want to, you can also extend the leg all the way to the floor, which intensifies it a little bit more. Now, whether the leg is straight forward or flat on the floor, there's one more thing you can do here if you'd like. And if you don't want to, it's okay. You can curl up, wrap the arm around the leg. So it's kind of like you're cradling a baby. Wrap the arm around the leg and relax back down. Okay. And this just intensifies again the stretch in the hip. I'll lead you through all of this. I just wanted you to see all of this before we get there. Okay. So when you're ready, come onto your back, come into lay down, get into the hips tonight. Good. And have your feet flat on the floor and cross your right ankle center of the left thigh. Right ankle center of the left thigh. Good. Now starting where we were before, bring the knee in towards your chest, the left knee that is. Okay. Now again, if you don't want to go any further than this, you'll just hold behind the thigh. And if we start to go further and you realize you want to back up, come back here. All right. Now, if you want to move forward, what you'll do is again, you'll hold on to the knee and the ankle joint with respected hands. The left foot can come flat to the floor and maybe just stay there to start. Okay. Now, just by doing that, you may feel an intensity of the stretch increase in the hip itself. Try to keep the shin parallel to your chest and try to make sure that this right ankle is not dropping toward your hip. You want to keep it lifting. All right. Now, if you want to take this further, you can curl up a little bit and try to wrap your forearm around the leg itself. And that would be with your left hand, or your left arm, I should say. Good. And at any time, if you'd like to, the left leg can extend to the floor. If you get there and realize maybe not, it's okay to bring that foot back where it was. Let's just breathe. Now, like some of the other postures that we practice sometimes, this might not be the most comfortable thing you've ever done, and that's okay. Breathe with it, stay with it, and think about softening this right hip joint, the gripping, the holding, the clenching, just let go of it. Just a couple more breaths. Good. All right. Go ahead and carefully release and extend the right leg all the way to the floor. And just feel. And now we get to see what that feels like on the other side. So take your time if you want to rest here longer. But when you're ready, you'll bring that right foot flat to the floor. You'll cross the left ankle, the center of the right thigh. Good. Flexing that foot, keep the joints protected. Bring the right knee in toward your chest. Again, if all you want to do is hold behind the thigh, stay right here. If you want to take it further, you'll hold the ankle and the leg with both hands. Bring the right foot back to the floor. And you'll hang out here. Again, don't let the right heel drop toward the hip. That'll actually take you out of the stretch. You want to keep it relatively parallel to the floor in your chest. And here you may automatically be aware of what hip is the loose hip and which one is the not loose hip. So just because you did something on the first side does not mean you have to do it on the second side. But I'll instruct the next few phases. Go at your own pace. If you want to take this further, you'll curl up. You'll wrap the right arm around the leg, and you'll release the head back down. If that's too much, don't do it. And at any time, if you want to, the right leg can extend to the floor. But again, you don't have to. And breathe. Staying for just a little bit longer. All right, carefully release that leg. Again, extend it all the way down to the floor. And just feel. Okay. So we're almost at the point of resting. So bring both feet flat to the floor, heels underneath the knees. We'll just spend a couple of breaths in bridge pose. So pressing the feet into the floor, lift the hips into the air, staying for about 3 or 4 breaths. Press up to your highest point. And exhale, slowly lower back down. Good. Bring your right knee into your chest. Extend your left leg to the floor. Take the right knee into the left hand. Right knee, left hand. Right arm can fall out to the side. And take the right knee across the body toward the floor on your left side, or guide it in that direction. We'll stay in this twist for a few breaths. Good. Then inhale, unwind. And switching sides, bring the left knee in. And taking the left knee into the right hand, left arm out to the side. Go ahead and guide that left knee across the body toward the floor on your right. Twist, twist, twist. And again, staying for about 3 or 4 breaths. Good. Inhale, unwind. Hug both knees into your chest when you get there. And when you feel complete here, go ahead and extend your legs down to the floor and prepare to rest here on your back for a few minutes. Feeling your body uncross. Once again, become aware of the points of contact your body makes with the floor. And just feel yourself supported through these points, steady and stable through these points. And in that steadiness and that stability, allow yourself to become still. The breath is moving again, but all other movement stops. And just rest in that stillness. peace, peace, peace. Please go ahead and take a deeper, fuller breath. Inviting some gentle movement to the hands and feet, your arms and legs. When you feel ready, go ahead and roll to your right and come on up to a seat. And if you're still making your way to a seat, please continue to go at your own pace. Once you are here, bring your palms to your heart and lower your chin. And honor yourself for the work you've done here tonight, feeling gratitude for all of that effort you put into this, the willpower, the trying, and may all of that effort and this practice, as always, continue to serve you. So until next time, namaste.